One last preview ahead of the Red River rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma, and our celebrity guest picker segment continues. Locked On SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what's up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. It's great to have you guys along on today's show. We're going to be joined by our buddy Brad Kellner, host of Locked On Longhorns. We'll get the Texas perspective of this Red River rivalry. We'll get you the latest on all the injury reports that came out Thursday night. And later in the show, our celebrity guest picker segment. You do not want to miss that. I'm Chris Gordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Shout out to our everydayers. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. And this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda Move and Be Moved. All right, we got the SEC injury reports on Thursday night. Here's the latest. For Bama Mizzou, O-lineman Caden Green, questionable for Mizzou. Wide receiver Ryan Williams, probable for Alabama. I would say he's going to go. For OU Texas, John Mateer, probable. We're going to get to that in a second. Keontae Lewis, the wide receiver, he's questionable. For Texas, running back C.J. Baxter, still doubtful, but Malik Muhammad, the defensive back, was upgraded to probable on Wednesday, so he was still probable on Thursday, along with wide receiver Parker Livingston. And as for Arkansas, Tennessee, kind of the same thing you expected. Same names that have been out for Arkansas are out. Tennessee, Jermon McCoy, Ricky Gibson still out there. For Florida, kind of same thing, questionable, Jacoby Jackson, Devin Manuel. For A&M, probable Scooby Williams. So it sounds like he may get back on the field. And then for Georgia, watching those O-linemen, Ernest Green, Monroe Freeling, both questionable still. And Auburn, just still Darrell Robinson and Horatio Fields out. For LSU South Carolina, Caden Durham is listed as probable for LSU, along with wide receiver Aaron Anderson, questionable. So there you go. That's your latest injury report across the SEC. And we welcome in our buddy Brad Kellner, host of Locked On Longhorns. He is just got to Dallas ahead of this big game coming up this weekend. Brad, welcome in, man. What number is this for you for the Red River rivalry?
And that's a great question, Gordy. I should have that answer off the top of my head. You know, as a kid who grew up in the Metroplex, I was fortunate enough to go to this game growing up and then every year when I was in college. If I had to guess, I would say it's 13 or 14 Red River shootouts for me. So it's my favorite weekend of the year. It's the best rivalry in college sports, and I'm thrilled to be a part of what should be a hell of a game on Saturday here at the Cotton Bowl.
I like that you said shootout because it's still the shootout. When two teams are scoring like crazy in a game, it's a shootout. It's okay. I know the PC police like, no, call it a rivalry. It's a shootout. It's a rivalry, whatever you want. But no, the big news coming out. Look, we've been tracking this all week. I've been watching some of the videos from Oklahoma all week where they said, okay, Monday was 85 and sunny, and Oklahoma practiced indoors. And then they practiced indoors again on Tuesday. I'm like, all right, they're trying to hide something here. Well, Pete Thamel coming out on Thursday evening saying, according to his sources, John Mateer is in line to attempt to play against Texas on Saturday. His injured right hand will be monitored, and there's no certainty he will be able to go. He was listed as questionable. Well, then the updated SEC availability report Thursday night has him upgraded to probable. So what say you? What's the gut right now from the Texas side? Is it going to be Michael Hawkins? Are we going to see John Mateer? What's your gut feeling?
Yeah, Steve Sarkisian said on Monday that Texas is preparing for both quarterbacks, and I think you have to, right? I mean, my gut feeling, I think John Mateer gives it a go. This is the biggest game of the year for both of these sides. And I know Oklahoma's 5-0. They can lose this game and still make a run at the SEC championship and the college football playoff, but they don't think like that north of the Red River. This is their biggest game every year, and they want their Heisman hopeful quarterback and everybody they can to be available. So the good news for Texas is there's not a huge difference in terms of style of play between John Mateer and Michael Hawkins Jr. There's a difference in ability. There's no doubt. But we're talking about dual threat quarterbacks here. We're not talking about one guy who's a total pocket passer, just a statue, and the other guy who's a dual threat. No, both of these guys are really good runners with the football. They may be Oklahoma's two best runners, the way their running backs have ran the ball this year. So for Texas, it's not like their defensive game plan would change a whole lot if it was Mateer or Hawkins. But yeah, I think your Texas, look, all week long you've been preparing for Mateer. Now that you see he's probable on the Thursday night injury report, I think you have to anticipate that he at least is going to try to give it a go Saturday afternoon.
That's what I think is so funny. You mentioned Oklahoma and their lack of a running game. I think Blaylock's kind of been their best back, but it hasn't been great. I can see a scenario where maybe they go, all right, Mateer's hand's not good enough to throw, but let's put him out there on some design quarterback draws, like just get him in there as a runner because he's so effective at that, and his legs are just fine.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, Mateer is such a great runner of the football. He's Oklahoma's leading ball carrier. He's Oklahoma's leading rushing touchdown maker. That's probably not the best way to describe it, but he's a serious weapon with his legs. There's no doubt about that. And he has been by far and away the best part of the Oklahoma offense this year. So you wonder about his ability to grip the football with that thumb injury. But look, man, I'm not putting a bounty on John Mateer's hand by any stretch of the imagination. I just know how this game goes. Right? Like all bets are off here. If John Mateer's at the bottom of the pile, there are going to be some Texas players maybe trying to take an extra shot at that hand. If John Mateer does the pregame coin toss, there may be some Texas players who are like, John, it's great to meet you. And they shake that hand really hard. Hope they can grasp that thumb a little bit. So, yeah, you wonder, is John Mateer 100%? If not, how close to 100% is he going to be? And can Oklahoma call the same offense? Can Ben Arbuckle call the same offense he was calling in OU's first 4 games of the year when John Mateer was out there? Or whether it's not wanting him to throw the ball as much or not wanting him to take as many hits when he takes off and runs, what type of changes do the Sooners have to make to their offensive game plan? Nobody knows until we see it happen.
All right, let's talk about the Texas side. Give me your just general takeaway coming off the loss to Florida. What was your mindset?
Well, the offensive line was terrible. And if they play like that in Dallas, they've got no shot against Oklahoma. And it's a scary thought for Texas fans that in only 7 days' time, you've got to turn it completely around. I mean, you need a 180-degree turnaround with what you saw in the Swamp. And, oh, by the way, you're doing it against a better defense. I mean, Oklahoma leads the country in sacks per game and tackles for loss per game. They lead the country in a number of major defensive statistical categories. So this is not the get-right opponent that you're looking for if you're the Texas offensive line. It's funny, Gordy, 25 of the last 28 winners of the Texas OU game has been the team that has won the rushing battle, right? Like you could look at other stats. Everyone's going to talk about turnovers and penalties and this, that, and the other. Of course, that all matters too, but it feels like whoever the line of scrimmage wins this game way more often than not. So can Texas get its running game going a little bit more? Can their offensive line block for the run, but also give Arch Manning a lot more time than he had in the Swamp a week ago? If those two things don't happen, I know this is a close line out in Vegas from our friends at FanDuel, but if the Texas offensive line doesn't play much better, this could get ugly for the Longhorns.
What'd you make of Arch? Because obviously, there were a few times where he was a little indecisive and he gets sacked. There's a few to blame on the offensive line. I called him, he's the opposite of what Jackson Arnold is at Auburn. Jackson Arnold, they basically have ingrained in him, don't throw the football into harm's way. Arch is a gunslinger. He doesn't mind throwing into harm's way because, hey, it might be a big play for us. It might be an interception for them. But what have you made of where Arch is right now?
Yeah, I think Arch has played a lot better in his last 2 games than he did in his first 3. I know you look at the stat line against Florida, you see the 2 interceptions, you see that he got sacked 6 times, the completion percentages and all that great. He was Texas's best player on offense against Florida. Now, was he perfect? No, there's plenty of room for improvement, but that's just how bad the other 10 guys around him were. I think Texas needs to make life easier for itself. Steve Sarkisian, he was actually asked about implementing more of a quick passing game against Oklahoma because of those 6 sacks and because of the offensive line struggles. And Sark's like, don't blame Arch for any of that. Like, that's me. That's my play calling. That's the offense. We want him to take shots down the field. And if you watch Sark, going back to his days at Alabama, he loves double moves. He loves longer developing routes. And Arch Manning throws a really nice deep ball. But if you don't have an offensive line that can block long enough for guys to get open down the field, it's going to cause some problems. So I think Texas needs to change up its offense a little bit. Arch Manning this year, I think, is 6th to last in the country in terms of average time to throw. Like, he's holding on to the ball 3.2 seconds on average per drop back. Last year, Quinn Ewers, same coach, same offense, 2.5 seconds. So I think a lot of it's Sark. I think some of it's on Arch too. It feels like maybe at times he locks onto the deep guy a little bit too much before looking for the check down. But with the way the offensive line is playing, they've got to make that move. So again, Arch has room for improvement. There's still some not as much anticipation as you would like to see. Feels like too many of his good plays are off platform and he's not quite doing enough within the flow of the offense. But I think he needs a lot more help, number one, from the guys in front of him, but number two, from the coaching staff on the sideline.
You mentioned they got to run the football. We mentioned CJ Baxter is doubtful. Trey Wisner not being on any of these lists, I guess, is encouraging because he only had 8 carries for 11 yards in the Florida game. Did score that touchdown late, but they said he was kind of grabbing his hamstring after and like, that might be a little sore there. So I guess it bodes well he's not on this list, but they have to run the football. I thought Texas was going to be among one of the best teams in the country running the football this year.
Gordy, it's pretty insane, right? Think of all of the great running backs at both of these schools. I mean, with Oklahoma, Adrian Peterson, Billy Sims, DeMarco Murray, Texas, Cedric Benson, Jamal Charles, Bijan Robinson, obviously Ricky and Earl. Like, there's so many elite running backs at both of these schools. I don't think either school has a real difference maker at running back right now. And Texas, you asked me about Texas. Like Trey Wisner, I get it. He ran for 1,000 yards last year. Texas had one of the best offensive lines in the country. I think Trey Wisner's good. He's better than 8 carries for 11 yards. But I don't think he's a real difference maker. I don't think anybody the Longhorns have, even if CJ Baxter were healthy, is a major game changer in the backfield. So that's a scary thought, right? It's the Texas offensive line going up against the top 5 rushing defense in America, and you don't really have that elite playmaker in the backfield. I think Arch Manning is going to be Texas's leading rusher. I really do. He's Texas's leading rusher this season, so maybe that's not that bold of a prediction. But for the Longhorns to win this game, Arch Manning has to be what John Mateer was in the first 4 weeks. Like, he has to put on the Superman cape. He's got to be the leading passer. He's got to be the leading rusher. He's got to be the best player on the field. And I don't think Texas needs to score a lot. I don't think Texas can score a lot. But, I don't have much faith, I guess, long-winded answer, in the traditional running back run game for Texas. Maybe more screens, maybe some jet sweeps, some things that are extensions of the running game to try to get it going. But I've got a hard time, Gordy, with the way this offense has run the football and the way Oklahoma has defended the run, thinking that Texas can just hand the ball off 20 times and expect good results.
Yeah, that's the crazy part is you look at this Oklahoma defense, and I mean they're top 10, top 2 in a lot of different categories and statistics. But look, I'm not freaking out on the Texas defense from what they did with Florida last week. I still think they're very good. You're going to see their best effort, and this game might be first 1 to 20 wins. Maybe it's a very low scoring game. Take the under, whatever it is. But Josh Pate this week said this game is Texas's season, basically. The reality is you lose this, it's hard to envision any kind of running the table and making the playoffs. So with that said, Brad, what's your prediction? How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, even if Texas wins, it's kind of hard to envision them running the table and making it to the playoff, right? But they've obviously left themselves zero margin for error with this 3-2 start. Gordy, I've been a Texas fan my entire life. Parents went to Texas, grandparents went to Texas, siblings went to Texas. I went to Texas. I'll be 6 feet under the day I pick Oklahoma to beat Texas. So, of course, I'm picking the Longhorns. I think you're right. I would say bet the under. I'm going like 17-15, a weird score, low scoring. I'm with you. I think the Longhorn defense is going to play way better. Last week against Florida was so weird, and I think they're going to be buttoned up and ready to go with an injured John Mateer or Michael Hawkins Jr. I still don't trust OU's offensive line. I think they've got some issues on offense as a whole, and I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be sloppy. And it's weird, it feels like Oklahoma's the better team. All of the money's going in on OU. But in this game, you throw out the records, you throw out the eye test, you throw out the stats. Weird things can happen in this game. And too many times it feels like the underdog finds a way to get it done. So I'm going to go with Texas again. Very low scoring, rock fight, and a close one.
All right, last thing for Brad Kellner. It is the Texas State Fair as well. What's the go-to food out there?
Oh, man. See, I like to mix it up, Gordy. I know there are traditionalists out there who have to get the Fletcher's corny dog every time they go, or, you got to get the funnel cake and loaded up that powdered sugar. But I try new things each and every year. And I always check out the Big Tex Choice Awards, where they just find the newest, craziest concoctions that are made by chefs. I don't know what you call them, random people. They've got brisket and brew stuffed pretzels this year, where it's a soft pretzel stuffed with slow roasted brisket and beer cheese. And those are three of my favorite things in the world: brisket, cheese, beer, and pretzels. That's good math. That's four things. I've got my eyes set on that one, Gordy. That's the number one thing I'm going with. And then I'll probably eat 10,000 calories worth of other stuff when I'm out there on Saturday too.
Well, I love it. I like this being a 2:30 game and not the 11 a.m. game. Give some people time to kind of liquor up and enjoy the festivities a little bit. And hey, we'll see if Sark eats a corn dog in the post-game presser again this year, like he did last year. So, Brad Kellner, Locked On Longhorns. Best of luck to your horns, Brad. Thanks for the time, man.
Anytime, Gordy. You're the man.
All right, coming up next, our celebrity guest picker segment. Stay right there. It is almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streak, saving more every time you order. These players deliver when it matters most. Let's break it down. For Texas A&M, we're going running back Ruben Owens. Delivered in a big way. He wore down their Mississippi State defense, rushing 21 times for 142 yards. He also had a 19-yard catch. When the pressure was on, Ruben Owens came through for the Aggies. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, performance, not a fluke. He is on a streak. And just like Ruben Owens delivered for the Aggies, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. This episode also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. And, of course, we're in the midst of the NFL season, the college season, and FanDuel still got a great offer that you do not want to miss. If you have not taken advantage of it yet, right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You're going to love how simple FanDuel is. They give you so many different ways to play. You can build parlays. You can try player props. Follow the live lines. They got all the games up there in the SEC happening this weekend. You feel good about an upset? I love grabbing the home underdog. Those are always a good one as well. Of course, you get in on the OU Texas game, neutral site. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app today, and get started. Take advantage of all the great things that FanDuel offers. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. Visit FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app and get started right now. Run along here, Locked On SEC, and one of our favorite segments this time of week. Every Friday, we bring in our celebrity guest picker segment. And our guest today, this guy, an internet sensation known for his viral video reviews going around to different restaurants around South Louisiana and others, finding great eateries that serve up red beans and rice and giving a good review as well as a look inside their bathrooms. We know him as Devin Snow. You know him as his internet moniker. He is Hold the Mayo, and he joins us now. Dev, what's up, man?
Hey, man, just getting through, man. Ready for the weekend, ready for football. Starts tonight with my Tulane Green Wave.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is airing Friday, so they'll have played already. So we'll see if they won or not. But you gotta pick in that one. This will be a pass pick.
I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think, Tulane should win the game. I mean, ECU's nice, though. They got a nice defense. They good at stopping the run. So, I mean, we'll see. But I got Tulane for sure.
There you go. Well, by the time people are listening to this, they'll know who won the game, and they'll know if you were good or not on that pick. But here's how it works, Dev. We'll pick 7 games in the SEC. You're just picking straight-up winners. No lines here. Just who you think's going to win the game. And as we take a look at our standings here, Jake Crane, our guy from Crane and Company, he is our leader. He's 6-1 right now. Ben Troop, the former Florida Gator, 5-2. Stingray, the former Cowbell diehard fan, 5-2. Taylor Hicks from American Idol, he had a rough week. Damn. He went 4-3, and then former LSU linebacker Cameron Vaughn went 4-3. So 6-1 is the bar, Mayo. If you can go 6-1 or 7-0, you'll be atop this leaderboard.
I'd love to beat Crane too. That'd be awesome, dude. So that's I love that list though. It's like perfect, bro. It's like it's so random that it's perfect.
It's a hodgepodge. Some some internet people, some real actual football players. So we're gonna keep mixing up. Our big one we're trying to work on for the end of the season. I won't give it away, but a famous Houston rapper we may get on by the end of the season. So we'll see if that happens. But Here we go, Mayo. Let's dive into it. We'll start with the first game. It is Washington State at number 4 Ole Miss.
I mean, I gotta go Ole Miss. I mean, sounds, after I just thought about it, it sounds a little more trappier than when it came off. But yeah, no, I gotta go Ole Miss with that. I mean, geez.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with Ole Miss too. Washington State is 3-2, but they're not a very good team, and Ole Miss is at home. And Trinidad Chambliss been a great quarterback. He just beat up LSU a couple weeks ago before their bye, so he's looking pretty good. It's funny though, Austin Simmons is getting closer to being healthy, and they almost got like a quarterback controversy in their hands.
I gotta be honest. I think the backup's better. I mean, just my opinion. I mean, you could look at what the starter did in the beginning of the year. He wasn't nearly as good as this guy that LSU played. That kid's special, man.
Yeah, and a lot of the sports books have him on the Heisman list now, Trinidad Chambliss. So pretty crazy to see. Our next game, it is Arkansas at number 12 Tennessee. Now, keep in mind, Arkansas just fired Sam Pittman and Bobby Petrino taking over as the interim head coach. Can Arkansas pull off the upset? Or you're going to stick with the home team in Tennessee?
No, Arkansas can't pull off the upset. Their glory run's kind of over. It was in the beginning. You could have, caught them while they were hot. It's over with. They're not winning in Tennessee. I got Tennessee in that one.
All right, I think I'm with you there. Joey Aguilar, he's been one of the big stories in the SEC this year. Been so good at quarterback for Tennessee. The next game, they start to get a little bit tougher here. DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators, big win over Texas last week. They want to beat the other team in Texas. They're going to College Station to play number 5 ranked Texas A&M in College Station. DJ Lagway, former Mr. Texas 2023. So he's going to have a lot of family and friends from the Willis area up there at College Station. Florida with the upset, or you stick with the Aggies at home?
A&M, every time that I've picked A&M this year, they've pulled through. Now, not always by the spread, but they've pulled through. I had them against Notre Dame. That was probably the most memorable one. But right time, right place, right time of the year, and I ate that Texas loss. I was all in on Texas last week, and Florida looked good. I mean, it's not like Florida sucks. It's that Florida looks like they suck sometimes. That's what it is with Florida. And last week they didn't look like they sucked, against another SEC team. Screw it, bro. Give me Florida. Give me Florida. I'll take Florida in that game.
Okay. I think I'm going to take the Aggies at home. It's their third straight SEC game at home. They play the next 3 all on the road. So maybe they get by with this one, but I'll tell you something. There's something with the DJ Lagway thing with friends and family there wanting to stick it to the team that he almost picked. He picked Florida over A&M. So maybe there's something there. But Dallas Wilson, by the way, made his college debut last week. Incredible.
I'll never forget him. I mean, he's the reason why I lost my Texas. I mean, he was killing Texas.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. This episode brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe that it is not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than just put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and they keep the game moving forward. And this week's moment that helped move the game forward, how about Ty Simpson? Led Alabama past Vanderbilt 30-14 as Ty Simpson threw for not 100, not 200, 340 yards with 2 touchdown passes. Simpson's performance helped Bama improve to 4-1 on the season, and he seems to be getting better and better each and every week. And hey, when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. Just like there's more to every highlight, there is more to every Mazda vehicle. If you've been looking for a vehicle, might I recommend our friends at Mazda. Of course, it is Mazda. Move and be moved. All right, next game, this one in your neck of the woods. It is going to be South Carolina heading to Baton Rouge to take on LSU, and Garrett Nussmeier has looked like the shell of his former self. This game last year in South Carolina was, Lenore Sellers, they were on their way to a monster upset of LSU, and LSU came back to win it because Sellers got hurt. But where are you on this one?
Oh man, let's just call this what it is. This is a hot pick. It's a hot pick, and that's just what it is. And I'm gonna take LSU, but I just wouldn't be surprised. First of all, it'll be a close game. I'll tell you that right now. It'll be a close game. Lenore Sellers, he's Lenore Sellers. Like he's gonna do some things. But eventually LSU to me, the Ole Miss game was an identity game for LSU. Who are you? You had so many weeks to, get it together, get this together, et cetera, et cetera. And now here you on the thick of this schedule. You about to play South Carolina. You about to play Vandy, Alabama, Texas A&M, Arkansas, all these different teams. Who are you? This is your last week to show who you are. You have to beat South Carolina. If not, this is all just frosted flakes, right? So I gotta go LSU there, but wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way.
Brian Kelly said we just need to get to the bye week with Garrett Nussmeier. Well, you got to the bye week, so we better see a much better Garrett Nussmeier coming out of the bye week, certainly. So that is why I'm going to stick with LSU. I'm going to go with the home team. If this were on the road, I might go South Carolina, but I think I'm going to stick with LSU. Next up, it is number 10 Georgia at 3-2 Auburn. I've been saying for the last week, I think Auburn's offense is going to be better at home, but I don't know if it's enough to beat Georgia. I'm going to go with the dogs just because I trust Kirby Smart. But this was a tricky game 2 years ago until Brock Bowers took over in the fourth quarter. But I'm going to stick with the road team in Georgia, but wouldn't shock me at all if Auburn pulled off the upset.
And Auburn, to me, is kind of similar to Florida in a way. It's like they could be up for any game. It's not a lot of games, but they could be up for any game. And especially at home at Auburn, they always going to be tough. Doesn't matter who is playing for Auburn. They always going to be tough at Auburn. With that being said, give me Georgia and give me Georgia by a lot because no way. No way.
Let me give you a caveat here, Mayo. They're retiring Cam Newton's jersey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me Georgia by 21 plus.
Okay. I just let you know, Cam Newton night at Jordan Hare, that place might be rocking. We'll see. Next game, it is number 8 Alabama at number 14 Mizzou. Bama just had 2 emotional wins. The big win over Georgia on the road, the big payback game against Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt. Now they got to go play his top 15 team in Mizzou on the road, and that's where Kalen DeBoer has struggled so far in his tenure at Alabama, is on the road at times. I might take Mizzou at home to win this one, but, of course, Alabama's playing some great football right now.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. If this was like in the first couple weeks, I could understand the upset pick. Alabama looks really good. I can tell you right now, this game's going to have 100 points. It's just going to be, it's an offensive game. Alabama gets in those kind of games now. Never really kind of used to be like that. But now it's like, dude, they'll let the team score however many, but they're going to score like 10 more points, seems like all these are kind of set up to be traps, but I got to go Alabama there.
We're not even betting the spread. We're just asking you to pick
I
a
know.
winner.
I know.
The other key for Mizzou, Ahmad Hardy has been a godsend at running back for them. They just had a bye week. He still leads the country in rushing. Like, wow. That's what's crazy is he's having a ridiculous year. So, I'm with you. I think both offenses score a lot of points, but I don't know. We'll see on Alabama, Mizzou. Last one for you, Mayo. It is Oklahoma versus Texas in the Red River rivalry game in Dallas. Never did I think that we'd come into this game and Oklahoma would be a top 10 team and Texas would be unranked. But that's how Arch Manning has played so far. We're going to see on John Mateer for Oklahoma. Does he play? Does he not? But, man, Oklahoma's defense has been so tough. I've been thinking Oklahoma all week, but, man, the odds makers, they've been favoring Texas all week, and they have not moved off that.
Yeah, because, they lost, and what happens when you lose, you usually come back a little strong, especially if you're a good program. You know what I'm saying? You usually come back a little stronger and with something to prove. That's why I feel the way I do about the Georgia situation as well. They had just lost to Alabama. So, this is crazy that I'm going to say this. I got to go Texas. Okay. I got to go Texas because I just said that I wouldn't bet. I'm not betting them. I said I wouldn't bet them again for the rest of the year after that last game because it was atrocious. It was atrocious. But especially if Mateer is questionable, do we know if it's swinging more to him playing or not playing?
It was, I'll tell you this, Monday, Tuesday was 85 degrees and sunny in Norman, and they practice indoors both days. So they're hiding something. They don't want us to know. So
gotcha. Yeah. I gotta stick with my gut here. Texas is gonna bounce back. And I'm not saying Texas is this great, juggernaut team. I don't think they are. I think Arch Manning, the whole Arch Manning hype, like it's going to take another year. It just is what it is. This 1 year is going to be a trial and error period. And then next year, that's when you're going to see Arch Manning, because I still do see good things out of Arch Manning. I mean, first of all, his vision's really good. If you really watch him, his vision's great for the field.
But where's Warby Parker? I mean.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that this is the bounce back, the official bounce back game for Arch Manning this year. And I gotta take Texas.
You never went over to Newman to see him play a game in high school?
I never did. I never been to a Newman game in my life. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
I think they check your earnings. You got to make a certain amount of money to even attend.
That's right. Yeah. I think it's a 700 credit higher to get in that game.
He is Holden Mayo, of course, the website htmsports.com, where people can get their merch like we're rocking today. And of course, the videos every week, jumping around all the different restaurants around New Orleans. And man, keep on rocking. It's been crushing. And you know where you're headed next week, or you just kind of go out on a Monday and pick a random place?
Yeah, no, I never even think about it till Mondays, because it makes it better that way, not planning nothing, very in the moment. That's how I wound up at like the zoo, yeah. That's how right there. It's just leave it to, be figured out during the day.
What's so funny is I interviewed one of the guys from the Impractical Jokers a couple years ago, and he said the more they started to get famous, the harder it was to do the tricks on people. And so I feel like when you walk into places now, people are probably like, oh God, he's here. Clean up. Let's make sure everything looks good. Is that happening now?
Well, and that's the thing too. That's another reason why I don't talk to nobody ahead of time. I never have, and I never have done this. I don't talk to nobody ahead of time. I don't pick the place, well ahead of time, or like go like their photos on Instagram, follow them. None of that. I just like to be very nonchalant. I film on an iPhone, this iPhone right here, and you could barely really tell I'm in there unless you really on it. And I think it goes perfect that way. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes influencers or whatever make, is they get with them ahead of time. More than likely, it's a paid review. And I think all that's just super toxic. I think that authenticity wise, you just go.
Yeah. Well, you're most definitely the biggest influencer with a Chalmette accent out there. So
probably the only one.
We appreciate you taking some time, man, and congrats on all the success and keep on rocking. All right.
All right, my brother. Appreciate you. Take care.
All right, that's Holden Mayo. Of course, like we said, htmsports.com, the website, and check them out on social media. Of course, on YouTube and all the social media websites out there. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Hey, it's another great moment of Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview with Drake Toll, Gary Patterson, and Jesse Holley. Every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. It is the College Football Kickoff Show. Check it out on Fire TV. I'm Chris Gordy. Everybody have a great weekend out there. We'll come back on Monday with our winners and losers of the weekend. This has been Locked On SEC.